Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk. What's going on? Good to be back here. Day before the start of the draft, not the draft for the Rams, really, the draft for almost every other team, but still the draft nonetheless. Exciting times. I wanted to go live and, got a few guys in here, Payo Time and Dare Lucky. And before I really get started, I want to give a shout out to a couple of other Rams creators that are kicking some major butt. If you aren't following these guys, Rams House and Rams House TV both have YouTube channels, and I think you can find both of them. Yeah, definitely on Instagram. And also Renee House, a guy who's followed Rams Talk, and we've been talking, and now he's writing articles, Rams articles for Fan to Fan Network. After this live stream, I'm going to put a link in the description below and even the comment to his latest story on the NFL draft. You got to read it. It's really good stuff. But yeah, guys, we're a couple days away now from, Friday, really, when the Rams get going. And I'm super stoked. And I just wanted to drop in here and get a pulse from you guys and hear from you guys who you guys are thinking the Rams will take, who you want them to take, what areas of need you really think that the Rams have. So just throw it at me. And, of course, I'll give you some of my own editorial on what's going up. But King Easy, good to see you. TP, yeah, in the Bundesstadt. Just hanging out in the Bundesstadt. What's up, TO Sports? Hey, I'm just stoked. I feel like we all know the prospects and everything, and right now it just comes down to just let's just get this over with. What's going on, Nani 1280, Giovanni Larios? How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I use the Pro Football Focus Draft Simulator all the time, and I feel like I kind of it doesn't account for changes like guys who are rising in the draft. I know every database and every website and every analyst are going to have different rankings of guys, but I really feel like I've kind of gamed the system, and I keep trading back a lot and just picking up a lot of guys that I like. So what's up, Dare Lucky? Oh, man, I wish I could go to the Rams Draft Villa. Appendix, Guten Abend. Yeah, it's 8:30 for me here over in Germany. What's going on? Dariante Ross, did I say that right? The question 3, what's going on? Yeah, we're doing good. Yeah, everything is rocking and rolling over here. But that Rams Villa, so essentially the Rams worked out a partnership with Rocket Mortgage. I think that's who that is. Basically, Rocket Mortgage, I'm sure, is totally just springing for the draft house, right? The Rams are paying for the setup and everything out there. But essentially, they're getting a free house to draft from, a free awesome house to draft from. So, and they're pumping that out there. Look, Upstart Film Collective. Oh, I will cough into my arm. Upstart Film Collective. Dariante, right? What's going on, Ray? Okay, Doc. Easy, Doc. That makes a lot of sense to me. You think the Rams will trade up to get a first-round pick? I doubt it. I mean, I think, they would have to give up so much. And they have a very limited draft capital. They have to give up so much to get in there. So I think they're really going to just try and actually trade back and pick up extra picks, if anything. Whack Jones with the 3rd pick, please. Yeah, people who think that Kyle Shanahan, now he's a good coach. And he can scheme an offense. I'm not taking anything away from that. But when it comes to personnel, especially the quarterback position, the 49ers have really dropped the ball. A couple drafts ago, they had the 3rd pick. They picked Solomon Thomas. They could have picked Patrick Mahomes. They could have picked Deshaun Watson. In that same draft, they traded up into the 3rd round to get, I think, another 3rd round pick to take C.J. Beathard, right? So, they were all putting their hopes on C.J. Beathard, and when they could have had Mahomes or Watson. So, and the fact that they're at 3, and I mean, maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe they're just we got our guy locked in. I think Mac Jones is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a guy. I think Mac Jones essentially would have been there at whatever their original pick was, 12, I think. So I don't I really don't think that they traded all that way to get Mac Jones. I'm hoping that it's just a smokescreen, or I'm guessing it's just a smokescreen. But if they take Mac Jones, whoever they take, I hope he sucks, and I hope they suck. It's that simple. I feel like we can get a difference maker at 57. Yeah, I guess it just depends on who's on the board. Are they taking? Is there a run on offensive lineman? Is there a run on edge? I mean, honestly, if like one of the top edge rushers drop down, I think that if you can pick up an edge that you like, then and can be a bookend with Leonard Floyd, and then we can get Terrell Lewis rotating in there, then I'm down with that. Because we kind of, our defensive line, we've lost a lot of guys. We lost Brockers, we lost Morgan Fox, we lost Ebicom. And Ebicom wasn't great, but he was a rotational guy. And that's what they like to do. They like to rotate guys and keep bodies fresh. They could have had Brady also, but passed. Yeah, I mean, and then they rolled. They went in on Jimmy G. It was up to Track Synergy. What's going on? Ruiz, the Rams, don't forget Foster as well. Oh, yeah. I mean, 49ers have nailed it, really. Justin Fields, yeah, to be honest, I think Justin Fields, outside of – I think he's the second best quarterback in the draft, to be honest with you. But Zach Wilson, I feel that's a big jump for him. Excuse me, just getting over some bronchitis here. Snaggy Lay, someone is going to fall, but it's just a matter of who exactly. Creed Humphrey, I believe his name was someone going to. Yeah, hey, thanks, Joe Lewis. Good to see you too. Good to be back. Draft time always gets the juices flowing here. Ebicom, you mean the sack master? Oh yeah. Enjoy the sack master, San Francisco, Samson Ebicom. Maybe we just weren't utilizing him correctly. Whatever. How many trades the Ram make, plus or minus 3? I say minus. I think, like 2 trades is maybe the sweet spot. It all depends. It all depends on like a team that really values a player that the Rams aren't eyeing, that really want to get into that think a team drafting right after the Rams might take. So really, that's all it takes is for them to another team to do that. So it's really kind of hard to see and hard to know if that'll happen until the dominoes start falling on day 2, right? And I wonder what kind of, I guess, surprises we're going to have on day 1, right? Like who in the first round won't get taken that everyone expected to get taken. And I think there's one guy that I kind of feel could be that guy. It would be Caleb Fairley of Virginia Tech, the cornerback. He's got some major back issues, basically 2 back surgeries. His back is not getting better. Like his back is going to just always be getting worse. So I think teams look at him. It's like Terrell Lewis, right? Now Terrell Lewis, if he's healthy, you can get 14 games out of Terrell Lewis, max effort, all in. You take it, but you can't, and you can't, and that's why the value will drop. Todd Gurley with the bum knee, he's just not the same guy anymore, right? So, I mean, if you can get 3-4 like awesome years out of Fairley, and then you have to move on because of the injury, then maybe that's worth it. He could be a top end guy, but I mean, what guys are going to be falling out of the first round that are expected to be in the first round? Which guys are going to be drafted in the first round that you didn't see coming, really? Like, even borderline guys, how many borderline guys jump up into the first round and fall out? So like, there's probably like a solid 5 to 10 guys that could go either way between the first and second round. And then that'll reset the board in the second day. And then we'll see how the dominoes fall like that. So yeah, the Dodgers did pull a Falcons against the Padres, but I'm not worried about the Dodgers. It's a long season. They got a lot of injuries, and, there's something to be said for a World Series hangover. What's going on, Holden? Good to see you in the live stream. I don't know if this is the first time I've seen you in there, but glad to have you. Holden is big time Rams Twitter and University of Central Florida. So if you have any Aaron Robinson, Tay Gowan, Richie Grant questions, that's your guy right there. And like, honestly, what a loaded secondary. Like, that's kind of like a who knew what's going on at UCF. Like, I don't know what's going on with it. They're putting in the water for all those guys in the secondary, but that's a pretty impressive bunch back there. I do think the Rams should get Whitworth's replacement. I mean, this is a really good offensive tackle draft. And when I say that, like really, DBU. That's right. I mean, seriously. I think this is a good developmental year. Like, seriously, whoever you pick this year doesn't have to start this year, right? So you just get them a year of getting in the groove and figuring it out, and boom, they're in there, right? There's a lot of guys, James Hudson, Brady Christensen, even though he's probably a little more ready to go. He's 24 years old. Brendan Hymus, a lot of guys, a lot of prospect offensive tackles that the Rams could get. So to me, my three areas of need are offensive line, because I feel that you can just never have enough depth. And the Rams, we all know, like, how did the Rams do last year? Really well, because their offensive line was awesome. How did they do the year before? Not so well, because their offensive line was terrible. How did they do the 2 years before that, when they had amazing offensive line continuity? Amazing. So I have, honestly, it's not sexy, but if you let's just say with number 57 pick, they pick a center, any center, but that's a 10-year center, like steady top 10. I'll take it. I'll take stability at that position on the offensive line with the 57 overall pick. I have no problem with that. If you want to take, I mean, most of the mock drafts I'm running and the simulators, I'm getting usually Brady Christensen, Kendrick Green, and Drew Dahlman. So I'm getting center, guard, offensive tackle, or Hymus, or Hudson, or a couple other guys. Like, I'm just building that, because next, you draft for 2022 as well, right? Whitworth could retire. Okay. Noteboom's a free agent. Brandon Allen's a free agent. Havenstein, it's his last year of his deal. You've got Bobby Evans and you've got Edwards. So Ankrum, I feel like Ankram's in the long-term plans. Probably, I don't know what Noteboom, like what's gonna happen with Noteboom, right? Is he even going to really play? Is he going to be a left guard? Is he just going to be hanging out? Is he going to be a depth guy this year? So a lot of questions on the offensive line for the 2 years out. So I really feel like the offensive line is something that they need to address. Who I just saw. Yeah, Radden's going to go in the first. Would love him for a Witt's replacement. I totally hear you, and he can play all 5 positions. So I would really love him. Walker Little's another guy. Walker Little's another guy that I feel like is you have to. I don't know how many people watched my last video, but it's all about the connections. And Carberry, the new offensive line coordinator, no one knows Walker Little better than he does. No one knows Drew Dahlman better than he does. And he coached those guys. Walker Little was the #1 high school recruit for offensive tackles when he came out. Tore his ACL in 2019, 2020, opted out for COVID. So he hasn't played in 2 years. But he has the pedigree. He's got all the measurables. He's a Stanford guy. And, so he doesn't have the wear and tear. So, Carberry's probably looking at him like, that is our left tackle of the future right there. Or Drew Dahlman. What I like about Drew Dahlman is not Stanford guy, great in the zone scheme. So like he totally fits the Rams offensive scheme. So there's a win right there. He's not projected to be taken at 57. So we can get him at 88, maybe 103. So if we can grab our center at one of those 2 picks, I'm happy with that. But also something has to be said for guys that are plug and play. Now I've hear a lot of people talking about how with a center, you don't really have center start year 1. You want to, there's a lot to process or whatever, but his dad played in the NFL. And there are certain guys that have been around the game since they were kids that get it, they're not, I guess, in awe of it as much and affected. So like he can come in and be business as usual. He's been coached his whole life by an NFL player. So I think, and Renee House, who wrote this article yesterday, I was talking to him. He was saying that back in the Fisher days, the Rams were drafting, like a lot of the guys they were drafting were for upside. Since then, they're drafting guys that are like plug and play. They do draft developmental guys, obviously, but Cooper Kupp, not a developmental guy. Taylor Rapp was not a developmental guy. Like a lot of guys, Jordan Fuller, a lot of these guys are just ready to go. Van Jefferson, ready to go. Cam Akers, ready to go. So I think that those are the kind of things to look out for. Now, also, when you're thinking about familiarity with Kevin Carberry, he came from Stanford. And there's a wide receiver in the draft from Stanford that he knows that guy almost just as well as anyone as well. So, that could be a guy, even though the Rams didn't meet with him, that would be a guy that we're not really talking about. I know Jake from Downtown Rams is talking about him, but, and he's a speedster. So, okay, let me get to the comments here. Oh, yeah, Liam Eichenberg. Hey, if he's there, Alvaro, I'd take him too. Like for me, whoever they take, just be the dude. Just be the dude. Like, I don't care. However, I do feel like it would be very Rams. It would be very Les Snead. So here we are, all the fans, all the pundits, mocking all these players at these positions, we think. And, like, wouldn't surprise me if they just went inside linebacker and tight end with their first 2 picks, right? So what do you guys think about when it comes to linebackers? I mean, I started watching some Jabril Cox tape, and I like him because – if I'm thinking about a linebacker, I'm thinking about a guy who excels in coverage because our linebackers do not. Traven Howard could be that guy. We don't really, it's very, very small sample size, but Micah Kaiser's not that guy. Micah Kaiser's better against the run. Troy Reader, same deal. So Kenny Young is supposed to be more of a coverage guy, but he's okay. But if you can get like a real, almost like safety linebacker hybrid, because John Johnson led the team in tackles last year. So who's going to fill it up? Who's going to step up to that? Just general question. Who's going to lead the Rams in tackles this year? So do we get a guy with like Jabril Cox that can do that can really be that coverage guy and get in there? Am I concerned at all with the only win now mode with the front office? No. So a couple of things that I feel that that not many people are talking about, I kind of think it's a big deal, is the new NFL, the TV deal, right? So I think it starts in 2023. So if you take into the and also win now mode, when you've got Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and a lot of these guys in their primes, that's the mode you got to be in. And Matthew Stafford isn't making as much as like the top 7-8 quarterbacks. So Jared Goff makes more than him. So they have a friendlier deal with him, but with the new TV deal coming in 2 years, the cap right now is what, at 181. The Rams have 30-some mil of dead cap on that. Next year, that dead money that's gone. So they're going to have another 30 mil to play with. It's conceivable that in 2 years, by 2023, when the new deal comes into place, the salary cap could be 230 mil. They're at 181 now. The Rams are really kind of operating at 150 in a way if you take the dead money. So that they could see an increase of like $80 million in cap space. Plus next year, they're going to have 4 or 5 compensatory picks. Like they're going to have 1 million compensatory picks because not just the players they lost, but they get an extra one because of Brad Holmes. So they're going to have a lot of draft picks next year. Also, Renee House brought this up. This year, the eligible players in the draft are like 600 and something, whereas normal years, 1,900 players. So you just don't have the depth of players in this draft that you normally have because the NCAA gave players an extra like redshirt year last year. So a lot of players are keeping that and staying in school. So next year, we're going to have almost 3 times as many players in the draft. The Rams are going to have more draft picks than they have this year going into the draft. And they're going to have 30 mil off the books from dead cap or dead money and whatever the increase in salary cap will be. Let's just say it goes up to 200. So they could have 50 mil in freed up cap money. So I think that they're playing the game how they need to play. I'm not really, to answer your question long-winded style, I'm not too worried about it in that regard. Let's see. Boom. Oh, it just kind of skipped all the way to the bottom here. So You think they pushed Corbett to center? Sure sounded like McVay wanted to use someone in-house in his presser. Yeah, and that's what I thought at the very beginning, like at the end of the season. And that's like Blythe. Blythe was a guard, kicked into center. And when Blythe kicked into center 2 years ago, like the 2019 season, he just moved over mid-game. And he had played center before in his past, but he wasn't taking reps at all that year at center. So, he had to get back in the groove. He had to prove his love to the line. Anyway, so if Corbett, let's just say they tell Corbett, hey, man, you're center. You're center, like today. You're the center next year. So he's going to start getting all the reps at center, and he should be ready to go. And then now now you're just filling in for guard, whether that's Bobby Evans, whether you're having Note Boom then at left guard and Ankrum at right guard or whatever, right? Because honestly, raise your hand if you're feeling convinced about Coleman Shelton and Brian Allen. I'm not, but who knows? Like, honestly, who knows what Brian Allen really is, right? He played 7-8 games his second year, and that's it. Usually it takes about 3 years to know if you hit or missed on an offensive lineman. Like that's their development window is usually about 3 years. But he's only had 7 games. So he's still relatively unknown. However, he was, he wasn't inspiring in that time. So I think he was also the first NFL player to get COVID. So kind of random. Coleman Shelton, nobody knows, right? So, I mean, those are just two massive question marks. But at the same time, the guys in the Rams facility, they know. Like Les Snead, he can look at Brian Allen and Coleman Shelton, and he knows. And McVay knows, and those guys know, right? So the thing about the draft for me, which I always find fascinating, is it's the great reset. We can sit here and we can think about where their weaknesses are, where their holes are, right? But they will tell us just with these draft picks exactly where they are, exactly what they think of these players. Like last year, they drafted Cam Akers, and we were like, oh, Daryl, they don't like Daryl Henderson. First of all, we're like, Cam Akers? What? But then, they don't like Daryl Henderson. And then you're thinking, well, it's just good to have 3 running backs if you can, right? We didn't think that way. They thought that way. They could be looking at guys on the practice squad, right? The defensive linemen, even the linebackers, even some DBs, whoever. Even Tristan Jackson, wide receiver, and be looking like Tristan Jackson, that guy's a player this year, or Jonah Williams, or Michael Hoyt, or Marquise Copeland. Any of those guys, they could be looking at and say, like, those Dante Dion, like we're fine with Dante Dion, Dion being on the roster. So who knows? Roseboom, the inside linebacker. So like, who knows in-house exactly how they view their guys, especially with Raheem Morris, with Kevin Carberry, with D. Camillus, like the new coaches in. And who knows what those guys are wanting. So we're going to find out about their scheme. We're going to find out about how they feel about their current roster and practice squad. And so that's why essentially we, when we're all talking about these players, we're just talking about like, okay, they met with them at their Senior Bowl, or they met with them in some capacity, or they have a relationship with them, and they played at the Senior Bowl. Usually that combination usually hits on 2 to 4 players in a draft. Okay, that's kind of like their MO. So what's up, Chantry Star, William Ramirez? I still miss John Johnson too. That one stings, honestly, and I think when you see guys like John Johnson go, yeah, if they didn't have the dead cap of Todd Gurley or Jared Goff on the books, perhaps they could have kept him. But I think it just goes into their like, hey, let's just draft these guys, coach them up, let them go, and unless they're a premium star, and get the compensatory pick. All I know is that we need to boost our defense more than offense in this draft. We need CB, middle linebacker, inside linebacker, and edge. Yeah, I mean, that like on the defensive line, now that Brockers and Fox are gone, so that means we're going to get more Ashawn, obviously. He should be starting the season. We're going to get some more Greg Gaines, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Aaron Donald. So you have those 4 guys kind of rotating into 2 spots, maybe 3 spots, depending on how they're shifting up their front. with Obo, Hollins, and Terrell Lewis rotating in that other spot. So, I mean, but those are impact guys. So if there's defensive line, I'm not too familiar with defensive line in this draft. An edge, I kind of feel like I feel pretty confident that they're going there. Inside linebacker, I don't feel like they're going there unless there's a incredible value. Corey Littleton was a UDFA that they turned into a third round compensatory pick. So like I think they value those guys at the bottom. You think JJ will be back one day? Hey, that would be pretty sweet. The Seahawks defense did improve, but still wasn't enough in the playoffs. You think that Terrell Lewis can still be good? It just depends on durability. Honestly, if you could right now, if you just said, hey, you're getting 12, I know I said before 14, if you're getting 12 out of 17 games of full max effort Terrell Lewis every year, I'd be like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take 12 out of 17 games. I'll take 2/3 of a season from Terrell Lewis playing at a high level. But being a Rams fan, knee injury, I'm a little suspect, to be honest. We had some of the best rookie breakout moments in the league. I mean, listen, the Rams, who knows what the scouting department is like with Brad Holmes leaving, right? He was the voice in the room for that department, but I feel like they have a good philosophy in house. And I'm just curious, like I was thinking about this, the way the Rams crunch the numbers that they look at, the numbers that they care about. They don't care about a 40 speed. They care about game speed. That Taylor Rapp, I remember when Taylor Rapp, it was the first time I heard it, when he was drafted, he had like a terrible 40 time, but they kept saying, oh, he closes. He can, okay, now I'm going to go deep for you. Talking to Renee yesterday about this, and we were going back and forth, but essentially you can have a guy that's awesome running in a straight line, right? But if you're a receiver, can you get off the line, right? Is it going to be press coverage? If it is, how many wasted movements will you have getting out of your break, getting off the line? So those wasted movements now, if you ran a 4.3 40, now you're running a 4.45. Now you are an average speed wide receiver because you can't get off the line, because you have wasted movements, because you're not refined in these regards. Cooper Kupp runs a 4.6, right? But his 3-cone or 6-cone, whatever it is, was like amazing. He can get off the line, no wasted movements, right? So Anthony Schwartz, so he's a 4.25, but is his game speed a 4.25? Like if he gets behind a defense and catches the ball, and no one will catch him, right? That's awesome. That actually happens. But to get there, can he get there, or does his 4.25 turn into a 4.45? So these are the kind of things that we don't have this information. Maybe some of you guys do, but the Rams do, and the Rams are looking at that. I mean, they had 2 meetings with Anthony Schwartz. So I would think like, wow, Anthony Schwartz, like that makes sense. Like they could get Anthony Schwartz, but I kind of feel like everyone, that whatever receiver they get is going to kind of be a return specialist hybrid. So yeah, Rapp is great, but sometimes he gets lost in coverage. To me, Rapp is an inside linebacker. I mean, he's undersized for that, right? But he's a great tackler, I feel. And that's kind of more of what Rapp is to me. He's a strong safety. Akers, but it's the thing with Akers lasting longer than Gurley is Gurley came in to the league with a torn ACL, and Cam Akers doesn't have that. So I think that's a huge difference. And Cam Akers is not in the Jeff Fisher, we're going to run your ass into the ground offense, right? So, he'll have significantly fewer touches than Gurley did in his first 3 years. What's up, Washi? Seattle in the house here. I should do a call-in live stream. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting the studio set up and definitely making improvements, but that would be pretty awesome. I'm down with that. Do you think Stafford is going to target the most? I think it's going to be Bobby Trees. That's an interesting question. Gosh, you know what I keep. So this isn't going to answer that question. I'm sorry, I can't tell you right now. But I feel like he always likes the big receivers. And you know what guy just pops in my mind who hasn't even done anything for the Rams yet, but a guy I think could turn into a favorite. He's not going to surpass Bobby Trees or Cooper Kupp, but Bryson Hopkins. I feel like Bryson Hopkins is a guy that is more wide receiver than tight end in a way. And I feel like he getting a jump ball, I feel like that is just Stafford to a T. Loving that. So I actually expect Bryson Hopkins to have a pretty solid year, depending on his usage. Even Higbee, I could see Higbee back, especially in the red zone. Over under DJ's 50-plus yard plays. I'll go 4. I'll go 4. Take the under, just because of health, right? Djax needs to prove that he can stay healthy and stay on the field. Do you think the Rams sign another 20 UDFAs? I don't know. I don't know what the UDFA rules are this year. I don't know if they're the same as last year. So that will be interesting. But, yeah, why not? How do you feel about Peyton Turner at 57? Hey, I don't know much about Peyton Turner other than a lot of people are saying nice things about him. So, yeah, I don't know what the accent that was, but you know who I was trying to mimic. But a lot of people like Peyton Turner. Peyton Turner apparently has all of the measurables. He played at Houston. I feel confident in in Henderson coaching the D-line guys and Shula coaching the linebackers. So, hey, if they identify him as the dude at 57, rock and roll. Let's go. Let's have a sick imagine if we had. Actually, I'm still hoping the Rams sign either Melvin Ingram or Justin Houston. Like, it's center, but there are dudes out there that Richard Sherman still isn't signed. Not that the Rams are going to get him, but there still are a lot of dudes. Sammy Watkins, maybe, I don't know if he got signed, but there still are a lot of dudes that haven't been signed. And I think you take a guy like Melvin Ingram, and if he's fully healthy, you put him on the same line as Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd. I mean, come on. Same with Justin Houston. Come on. Justin Houston can get 10 sacks easy on that line. So I don't know. I mean, maybe if those are just one-year guys, I think those are good stopgaps. Jacob Harris. Who's Jacob Harris? Probably feel going to sound stupid for not knowing that, but it's not the first time. Okay, I'm getting lost. Everything just really scrolled down. I really want a Nickel Roby-Coleman back on our team, but I doubt that will happen. Yeah, I doubt that'll happen too. I think there's a cornerback out there, not Nickel, but someone else who's actually pretty solid. Higbee is an underrated TE if he can. I mean, last year he was banged up, but he needs to get the targets. So depending on if a team needs that they're building for the future yet. You were telling me the Seahawks offensive line was bad and that we had no defensive line. We got Kerry Hyder, Carlos Dunlap, and Gabe Jackson. Matt Stafford is going to be running for his life. Did you guys re-sign Dunlap? I thought he left. I thought you guys got Alden Smith and Kerry Hyder. And Alden Smith, who was a guy who was hoping the Rams would take, still got some legal issues. Scariest team in the NFC West outside of us. It depends on how the 49ers shape up, to be honest with you. Also, I'm interested to see what Shane Waldron does at Seattle. Because, I mean, let's just be honest, Brian Schottenheimer, we all know that guy. We all know what he brings to the table. And there was a reason why that offense went south last year. So it depends on what Shane Waldron can do. Asante Samuel could fall to us. Ooh, D. Watts, I think that's tough because a lot of teams like corners. I mean, I could see the Jets taking him. I could see him being taken in the first round. And when I say Jets taking him, I mean in the second round, like with their first pick in the second round. So I actually find it extremely doubtful that Asante Samuel Jr. would fall. Unless people don't like him because of his size. I don't have a problem with his size. Hey, 5'10", rock and roll 5'10". But especially in the Rams a defense, I don't think that's a problem. Depends on the situation. We have to have a key QB. Why keep it, honestly? Yeah. The Rams roster from starter perspective is really good, but you guys are really top heavy. Actually, Washi, we have some pretty solid depth. There's a reason why we let John Johnson and Troy Hill go, because they believe in our guys. Like, I'd be Washi. Yeah, your pass rush is good, but your secondary is done. Unless you sign someone or draft, I mean, you're not picking in the first round, right? So if I'm Washington, if I'm Seattle, I'm going, and your pick is right before us, I'm going cornerback. Definitely going cornerback, because you lost Dunlap. No, not Dunlap. Sorry, Dunbar, and you lost Griffin. So who are your cornerbacks? Reed. That's it. So good luck with that. Jamal Adams is not good in coverage, as we all know. Hey, if Asante Samuel's there at 57, hey, count me in. I'll run that card in there, because that would be sick. Also, David Long. I mean, we don't even know what David Long can do. I mean, he's played well. He's done all right. But, yeah, are we ready to hand the reins out? He was a third-round pick. I liked him coming out of Michigan. He did really well. He's playing the outside there. But, I mean, I feel like if the Rams really loved him at corner or nickel, he would have been there already. Let's see. Seeing doesn't scare me. Brownneck here. Snowden. Did you just say Snowden? It just jumped. The chat jumped. Brian Poole. Oh, Pineapples. Yes, Brian Poole from New York Jets. He played well against us last year, and he stuck out to me. So that would be an awesome free agent signing. However, I think he's young, so he's going to want to get paid. Our wide receiver core. I think I love our wide receiver core. I don't think we actually really need a wide receiver in this draft. But, what if Djax plays 8 games, right? What if Cooper Kupp gets injured for 3 or 4 games? Then you got Woods and Jefferson and Nasimba Webster, Tristan Jackson. So I guess from a depth perspective, yes, a wide receiver would be good. But, I mean, how many teams have 3 above-average wide receivers and then Deshaun Jackson, right? So we're in a good spot with our receivers. Like if you look at Arizona, they have DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green. Who knows what you're going to get from him? And then all those other guys, Kirk and Isabella, are like whatever. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk are good, but injured all the time. DK and Lockett are awesome, and who I'm spacing out on the third guy, who's pretty decent, but I love our wide receivers. Cliff Kingsbury is holding the whole team back. So Cliff Kingsbury, to me, is an offensive coordinator in the NFL. He's not a head coach. And we'll see that with the Cardinals this year, another underachieve. We're not losing Hecker, are we? I don't know. I mean, I don't think this year. Maybe that's just a signing to light a fire, or what some people call camp legs, having as many guys punting in camp to all the different guys trying to win the return specialist job. So maybe he's a camp leg. Hey, Washi, see you later. If that's what you mean, that you're going to dip. I don't pick up Alden Smith anymore. He can't stay on the field. Yeah. Now I think we all have that game, the first game from last year, in our mind about how he just like went off, and then he finished the year with like just a couple of sacks. Like what? Yeah, enjoy that presser from Seattle. Oof. Wide receiver is set. Watch out, Van. He'll go over 7 yards. Betting on it. Wide receiver core is legit. They probably get one in the 7th, maybe. I'm not scared of the Cards. 49ers are the only guys I'm worried about. Me too. Are you doing a live stream on Friday? So here's the deal. The second day 2 of the draft is on at 1 a.m. in the morning for me. And then I did the math. So each pick in the second round is 7 minutes long, like 7 minutes between picks. And I think there are 25 picks. The Rams have the 25th pick in the second round. So essentially that's almost 3 hours before they pick. So that'll be around 4 a.m. for me. So I don't know. Like, I really want to. Last year I stayed up for the draft, I feel, and I stayed up for it. I don't remember being so late. Anyway, I'm not sure yet, Bill. So, but I'll let you guys know. You guys know if I'm awake, I think I'll live stream. Who knows? At that time, maybe I'll just go to sleep at like 9 o'clock at night, wake up at 3:30, get 6.5 hours of sleep, and just let it rip, because that'll be Saturday morning for me. I'll be useless, but whatever. It's a weekend. Thoughts on Fuller? I love Fuller, but here's another thing with our safeties. A lot of injuries last year, right? So Fuller was injured a lot. Taylor Rapp was missed almost the whole season. Nick Scott was healthy the whole year. So, how is our safety depth? I mean, it all comes down to depth. So let's just see how we can coach these guys up. What do you think our record will be? Oh, gosh, is this a 17-game season? If so, 12-5. 16-game season? Sorry, I should know this. I feel like an idiot. 12-5. I feel good 12-5. I mean, honestly, though, with Matt Stafford, like, that could be a 13-4. Because you just think about it. Think about those games last year where if Jared Goff just didn't just completely melt down. 49er games, both. Dolphins game, missing one in there, where it just was like, dude, Seattle game, I think the second Seattle game. So Matt Stafford is I think really will. I think the Rams are going to surprise us, and I'm kind of a little tentative because I don't know the roster yet, but 13-4. Let's just book it, guys, and then I'm gonna remember this. 42 minutes into this live stream, we'll roll the tape, and everyone here is going to be on record. 13-4. I love it. Jamal Adams was a top 10 coverage safety the last 2 years when he was with the Jets. He didn't forget how to play coverage. Well, he was pretty crappy in coverage last year. Truth be told. Jets. Exactly. Thank you, Alvaro. I think we sweep Seattle this year. Yeah, I feel that. DK Metcalf cannot handle Jalen Ramsey. Cannot. Oh, that was just so sweet when Darius Williams just jumped the line and went in there and got it. But yeah, did you guys throw out some linebacker suggestions for me? Okay, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to do a mock draft simulation right now, and I want to get input from you guys on who to take. So I'm just starting at PFF, Pro Football Focus. You guys ready for this? So I'm starting the draft, and I'm not going to make any trades until it gets to us at 57, right? So it's cranking through. It's cranking through. Who do we have at 57? All right. So available players: Walker Little, Jamin Davis, De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown, by the way, I actually really like De'Ami Brown, and someone made a comparison or like an analogy of what he brings. So he's blazing fast, so he can catch the bombs, and he's amazing at blocking, which is like what the Rams love to do. For their wide receivers, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, like block. If they're going 11% block and then go deep. So like they said De'Ami Brown is like a 3-and-D guy. Like great at defense and the 3-pointer, great at the long routes, the go routes and blocking. So De'Ami Brown is kind of an interesting guy from North Carolina. Okay, Javonte Williams, no. I'm just going to say Peyton Turner is available. Creed Humphrey, Rashad Weaver, Kelvin Joseph, Kendrick Green, Tay Gowan, Josh Palmer, Eric Stokes, Milton Williams, Brady Christensen, Joe Tryon, who I like, Thomas Graham Jr. Yeah, those are kind of the top guys there. What are you guys feeling? Okay, so Walker Little, Jamin Davis, De'Ami Brown, Quinn Meinerz. Sorry, Quinn Meinerz is available. Peyton Turner, Creed Humphrey, Rashad Weaver, Jamin. Jamin? Really, you guys? See, to me, Jamin is not this one was bitching at the Rams for drafting Bruce. What is it? Maybe Cam Akers. Yeah. Actually, my greatest Rams bitching moment was when they drafted Donnie Avery ahead of Deshaun Jackson and then Brian Quick ahead of Alshon Jeffrey. Creed. Okay, Jamin or Creed. Jamin, and it ain't close. Creed, Walker Little, Quinn Miners, Jamin, Gowan, Creed, Humphrey. Isn't a scheme fit. Yeah, he plays in a phone booth. Creed, Quinn, Tryon, or Peyton is fine as well. All right, guys. So it's between Walker Little, Jamin Davis, Quinn Miners, Creed Humphrey, Peyton Turner. Or throwing this out there, trade back with the Detroit Lions to the 72nd pick, right? So we can offer the 57th for the 72nd, and let's see if we can get our 101st pick back, okay? So I'm just going to offer them the 57th for 72 and 101. You guys feeling that? If we can get us the 101st pick back and going back 15 spots, would you trade back? I don't know if Pro Football Focus will do it. The Lions, Brad Holmes here will do it. Trade back? Yes? No? Okay, yeah, trade back and getting some responses there. Okay, I'm gonna offer the trade and see if they take it. It's a lot. Yes, trade is accepted. All right, so all those guys we were talking about are pretty much going to be gone, except for Jamin Davis, because in this simulator, the world hasn't caught up to him. So okay, Jamin Davis still available at 72, guys. De'Ami Brown, Peyton Turner. Creed Humphrey and Quinn Miners are gone. But we still have Peyton Turner and Jamin Davis to choose from. So what do you guys think? Also in the range there is we have Tay Gowan, Kendrick Green, Osa Idigizua from UCLA. Chaz Surratt. So there you go. Now he's not going to be there in real life. So here, this is what I do with the mocks. I always get Drew Dahlman at the 100 I can get Drew Dahlman at the 141st pick. Not real life, but in this simulator, yeah. So I like just staying put on center until in this simulator, it's pretty ridiculous. Get a center, Jamal Adams, get a center. Jamin not making it past 40, take Chaz. All right, guys. So here's final call. Jamin Davis, I know in real life, but we're just playing simulator here, okay? He's there. Jamin Davis, De'Ami Brown, Ardarius Washington, Peyton Turner, Kendrick Green, Tay Gowan. What centers are available? That's a good question. Okay, we have Drew Dahlman is actually Josh Myers, Drew Dahlman, Drake Jackson, Michael Manet. So we missed the cream of the crop centers. Trey Hill, Trey Cool. The centers aren't very inspiring right here. So that's why we could either take a linebacker, an edge. We can take a wide receiver. I think all of those guys that we like in that range are there. De'Ami Brown, Josh Palmer, Cade Johnson, Jalen Darden. Simi Fehoko, Amir Smith-Marset, who I really like. Tutu Atwell, Dwayne Eskridge, Anthony Schwartz. Okay, guys, just because everyone, let's just take Jamin Davis and move on with our lives because we have a pick at 88. We have 16 picks to go. All right, so I'm going to do that. Jamin Davis, we got Jamin Davis. Now, Peyton Turner was taken. So now we're at 88. Kendrick Green is there. Tay Gowan is there. Kelvin Joseph is there. Kellen Mond, quarterbacks. Pretty much any quarterback outside of like round 1, I'm not really feeling. We don't need it, or just in general. Milton Williams. I feel like we should get a cornerback, but also Benjamin St. Juste is good, and he's available. So let's see here. Offensive tackles. Brady Christensen, Gowan, Spencer Brown, Kelvin Joseph. Detroit man, Kelvin Joseph. Has anyone seen the footage of Kelvin Joseph just getting a personal foul for no reason? Like, that guy's pretty awesome. I kind of like that. Like, there was a false start from a receiver, and they threw the flags. It was a dead play, and Kelvin Joseph just walks up to the guy and just shoves him, like 5 seconds after the play was called dead for like no reason. It was amazing. No, we don't want Mond. So Kelvin Joseph or corner Brady Christensen, Tay Gowan, Kendrick Green, or Kelvin Joseph. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think. Joseph? I feel like I get a lot of Joseph. Okay, guys. The Rams Talk chat board has spoken Kelvin Joseph. It is. Boom. So we got him. Now we're at 101. So we have 101 and 103, guys. So we have 2 picks almost back to back here. We can get Kendrick Green. So essentially we got our first 2 picks were a linebacker, Jamin Davis, and a cornerbacker in Kelvin Joseph. So we have linebacker and our secondary linebacker. We're good right now. So what position should we take? Get a center. Get a center. You know what? How are you feeling about getting Brady Christensen, the tackle out of BYU here, and then Drew Dahlman? We can get Drew Dahlman at 141. Or we can get Kendrick Green here. Kendrick Green. You guys, Kendrick Green, who can play center, but I like having that guard. The 199th pick. Okay, Green. Everyone's saying Green. All right, we're getting Kendrick Green. So now we have Kendrick Green. And then it's our pick again. So I personally think Brady Christensen is the way to go. Or we can look at wide receiver. And wide receivers here, we still have Simi Fehoko, Amir Smith-Marset, Dwayne Eskridge, and Anthony Schwartz. So we got Green, everyone. So we got Green. We have Green. We're super green, as Ruby Rod would say. Does anyone know what that's from? Ruby Rod. Super green. Okay, guys, but wide receiver. Josh Palmer, Cade Johnson, Jalen Darden, Dax Milne, Nico Collins, Semi Fehoko, Cornell Powell, Amir Smith-Marset, Amari Rogers, Seth Williams, KJ Stephenson, Dwayne Eskridge, Shee Smith, Anthony Schwartz, Eskridge. I see a Schwartz, Eskridge, a Nope, Eskridge. Best color in the world. I'm sold. A green substance. Ha. That's right. You are green. All right. Do I hear? Is everyone going for Eskridge? I feel everyone like Eskridge is. We met with Eskridge, right? I think we did. Let me pull up my sheet here that's tracked most of our meetings. Eskridge. Yes, we met with Eskridge. We met with Felton. We met with Des Fitzpatrick, who won Offensive Player of the Game at the Senior Bowl, who was at Louisville with Tutu Atwell. Eskridge. All right, guys, pulling the trigger on Dwayne Eskridge at 103. So now we're going to go up to 141, see what we got there. But I'm thinking here, maybe we get a project tackle or edge. But look, Milton Williams, defensive interior from Louisiana Tech is there. Okay, so we can get a D lineman. Yeah, we don't have any D line. Benjamin St. Juste from Minnesota, cornerback. Tommy Tremble, the tight end from Notre Dame. Darius Stills. Let's see, Stills. He's there. But he's projected like way later. We could probably get him at 209. Let me look and see what edge we have there, guys. Okay, Jonathan Cooper, Shaka Toney, Joshua Kando, Malcolm Kuntz, Quincy Roche, Chauncey Goldson, who we've met with, and Janarius Robinson, and Ellerson Smith. So those are guys that Jonathan Cooper, from edge out of Ohio State. Yeah, really, Detroit, man, 39, get a tight end? Ooh, that's what I say to that. Ooh. Offensive tackle, we can get Brandon Hymas out of Nebraska, who is also at the Senior Bowl and very, very good project. Okay, so I'm throwing my 2 cents out there. We get Brandon Hymas, offensive tackle. We get Drew Dahlman, a center. So like essentially we'd have Kendrick Green and we'd have a guard and a center. Both play zone. They could be our dudes of the future. We get Brandon Hymas here, offensive tackle of the future who could develop. We can get Milton Williams. So what do you guys say? If no one says anything in the next 5 seconds, I'm just going to go who I want, which will probably be Dahlman is the best pick here. But you know what? Yeah. But I think we can get Dahlman at just playing this game. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go with Brandon Hymas, the offensive tackle. I feel it's good to just have one of those guys in the system there. And then we're coming around to 209. And if Dahlman's there, I'm feeling pretty saucy about that. I'll be honest with you. And he's there, guys. We can get Drew Dahlman. We can do it. Yep. Sound good? Drew Dahlman. And then the last pick at 252. Oof. Who's the sleepiest sleeper you guys can think of? It's Slim Pickens. Sedarius, we already have line help. There are a couple of there are a couple of, what's the word I'm looking for? Cornerbacks that we met with that will still be around, like Darren Hall from San Diego State and Brian Mills from North Carolina Central. Okay, I think I'm going to go with Darren Hall. All right, so we got a cornerback there. All right, so grading our draft, B+, guys. There it is in all its glory. I mean, I'll take that. We didn't address defensive line at all, but our offensive line is set. We got a linebacker. We got a cornerback. We got a speed receiver / returner. Another cornerback. So I'd walk away with this pretty happy, to be honest with you. Sign Justin Houston. Done deal, everybody. Done deal. The Pro Football Focus Simulator, like I'm telling you, you can keep like trading back and it just depends on what the algorithm says. But anyways, well, guys, I think that's going to conclude the live stream for today. We're almost at an hour. Great seeing everyone. I'll let you know if I'm going to be online or do anything during the draft, but most likely I'll have a video out after the first round, after when the board resets maybe, and we'll take it from there. But really awesome seeing everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy your Wednesday, and as always, everyone, go Rams.